Okay. Okay,
But
let's begin.
okay, so do you have scans, or are we just like just
I
winging it?
don't, but I could look stuff up as we go if need be.
Okay, that sounds good. But basically, I think Tobirama would definitely beat Minato because although Minato does have a better flying Raijin, Tobirama has a much more vast arsenal of jutsu. He has more impressive feats, especially against people like Izuna. Also in the war when Tobirama was Edoed, he did pretty well against Madara. He almost actually got a hit off on Rinnegan Madara with Hashirama cells. He did dodge it, but he did almost get a hit off on him. And I would also argue that Tobirama is more intelligent than Minato due to him, creating like all the jutsu in the leaf and creating all the systems in there. But that's different than battle IQ. But all the jutsus and stuff. So yeah, that's my argument.
Okay, so I disagree with you on a couple points. You say that Tobirama's feats are superior to Minato's. I disagree. You specifically mention his feat where he nearly tags Madara revived, whereas previously, that same day, a similar capable Madara fought the Raikage, and Raikage was slow, whereas Minato was able to blitz the Raikage when alive.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that Minato would be on par with Madara's speeds. Just because Madara was, doing well against the Raikage and Minato blitzed the Raikage, that doesn't necessarily mean that Minato would have speeds that are comparable to Madara's.
He doesn't need to have speeds comparable to Madara's. We're using Madara as the comparison to prove that Minato would blitz Tobirama, so it doesn't matter that Tobirama has more versatile skills or intelligence if he just gets blitzed. And because Tobirama doesn't have enough AP or durability to just go off against Minato, there's no way for him to survive in a fight.
So why do you think Minato would blitz Tobirama? Madara fought the Raikage and did well against the Raikage, and Minato blitzed the Raikage?
Yes, yes. In the fight,
But
the
that's
five
all.
Kage.
You would have to prove that the Raikage is fast at all. The Raikage's speed was not comparable to Madara's reaction speed, and it was not comparable to Madara's either. So for that to be an argument, you need to prove that the Raikage has a speed that is around Tobirama's.
I don't know about around Tobirama, but Raikage was comparable to KCM1 Naruto, not only when he went up against Naruto at the end of the first day, but also when we see both Raikage versus Madara was slow, as well as Madara was able to keep up with KCM1 Naruto pretty easily.
Yeah, so then you need to prove that KCM Naruto is comparable to Tobirama.
KCM2 Naruto required Tobirama to teleport him in order to hit Jubito, which means Tobirama's teleportation is pretty fast, but that's not an argument for his speed. I feel like I'm just steel manning here. What am I doing?
Well, also that's KCM2 Naruto, and just because he fired his flying Raijin to hit Jubito, that doesn't mean that his speed would be around KCM2. That would just be because Naruto doesn't have, flying Raijin, and he was just using that as a utility to help him hit Jubito.
Would you argue that KCM2 Naruto is significantly faster than KCM1 Naruto?
Significantly, I'm not sure. No comment on that one.
Can you quantify how much faster KCM2 Naruto is compared to KCM1 Naruto?
Can I right now? No. I don't have any calcs for that.
Are you able to confirm in any way that KCM2 Naruto is faster than KCM1 Naruto?
Right now, without prep, no, I cannot.
Then, for the sake of this debate, we can assume that KCM1 and KCM2 Naruto are equal in speed. Is that okay? Or if not equal, then
Yeah,
at least relative.
sure. I'm not sure I agree with that premise, but sure.
Okay, well, assuming that they are at least relative in speed, then when Naruto required Tobirama's teleportation in order to hit Jubito, that proves that Tobirama by himself is not fast enough to keep up with Jubito, who Madara believed he could beat, which brings back the comparison of the Raikage and how Tobirama would be slower.
But that doesn't make sense though, because just because Madara is faster than Jubito, you put faster than Tobirama, that doesn't mean that Minato would be faster than Tobirama though, because you haven't factored Minato into that yet.
Minato was able to do well against Judora. I do not, considering he was one of the only ones able to help out Guy in his fight. He not only
The only
had
thing
The reaction timing,
Was
but
tank.
also a level of movement speed to maybe not react, but at least keep up with in a way to Judora and able to assist Guy.
The only thing that he did in that fight was use his flying Raijin to tank the True Seeking Orbs. He didn't have the movement speed or reaction time to keep up with Jubi Madara. Like, the True Seeking Orbs are not necessarily at the speed of Jubi Madara, so you need to prove that he has speed or even reaction time comparable to Jubi Madara's instead of the True Seeking Orbs.
Keep in mind that Flying Raijin isn't just instant teleportation wherever he wants. He needed to have a tag in place exactly where it need be in order to teleport there. And in order to make a tag be there, he had to at least throw it or land it in a speed similar to what he can move in the first place, considering there was not a tag already in that place. Meaning that Flying Raijin is irrelevant in this case, even though he did use it after the fact, because the amount of speed he could have used in the first place to get in position to assist him was made entirely by his speed rather than by teleportation.
That is right, but he wasn't reacting to Jubi Madara, but rather he was reacting to the True Seeking Orbs.
Can you prove that the truth-seeking orbs are slower than Jubi Madara?
The burden of proof would be upon you to prove that they're faster or as fast.
You got me there. Okay, in that case, I will use a different example. Rock Lee, who is very nearby, said he was not helpful or incomparable in the fight, and he was at that time able to make it up to the 6th gate.
Correct.
I'm not sure exactly the calcs on the 6th gate, but I know the 5th gate makes Lee 24 times faster than his base.
Right.
It should be assumed that the 6th gate would make him at least more than 24 times faster than his base.
Can you prove that?
No. Does each gate make the person faster? Is that assumed within every gate?
Not necessarily, because the gate, I believe, it doesn't really have an effect on your speed. If I'm not incorrect, I believe it just makes you have more strength and better senses.
Okay, I'm trying to look it up, but for now we'll just assume that the 6th gate is 24 times faster than base.
Okay, I accept that.
Increase all user ability. I just looked it up, and it says that the 6th grade increases all of the user's abilities, which would include speed.
Can you send the calc or the statement?
Yeah, but it's on the wiki, so I don't know how reliable you're going to take this.
Oh, yeah, no, I wouldn't use the wiki unless it has a calc or something.
Okay, we're just going to assume the 24 times speed then.
Because the wiki has a bunch of stuff from like filler and stuff, and it's just really unreliable.
Alright, that's fair. So Might Guy was moving at speeds able to warp reality.
Yes. Or, well, not reality, but he was warping light.
Okay, so he was able to warp the light around him just based on his movement speed, which prevented Madara from moving. And Minato was able to not keep up, but was able to analyze and react to a Might Guy moving at relatively the speed. Even if he wasn't moving at the speed at that exact time, he was probably moving at least relative. Therefore, it can be assumed that Minato is relative to faster than the speed of light. Whereas Tobirama has not shown any feats of this sort.
Minato wasn't relative to Might Guy when he was moving that fast. Are you referring to the feat where he tanks the True Seeking Orbs for him?
Yes, that'd be reaction timing, as well as he did have to move fast enough to be able to get in the way of the truth-seeking orbs.
No, that wasn't a movement speed feat, because all he did was throw the Flying Raijin in front of Might Guy, which wouldn't be necessarily relative to his speed because he just threw it in front of him. And then he tanked the True Seeking Orbs, which were in front of Guy. So that would be a reaction time feat, not for Guy's speed, but for the speed of the True Seeking Orbs. So he can react faster than the speed of the True Seeking Orbs. Not necessarily Guy in that.
How fast are the truth-seeking orbs? Are they quantifiable?
Probably, but I don't have any calcs for them.
How fast should we assume they are then, because you stated yourself that they are slower than Jubi Madara?
I'm not sure how fast you would assume they are. I didn't come prepared with calcs or statements or anything for the True Seeking Orbs.
Okay, I'll agree that they are slower than Jubi Madara, but do you agree that they are faster than the Raikage?
Not necessarily. You have to prove that.
Alright, just 1 second.
Okay.
So because I'm a noob, I'm going to use a calc from the wiki.
Can you send me the calc?
Yes, I can. Okay, hang on. So in this statement, it doesn't specify how fast they are, but it does say that they are high-speed projectiles. But the important part, the reason that I'm highlighting this, is it states that the truth-seeking orbs are not able to be more than 70 meters away from the person controlling them. So therefore, Madara had to stay within range, which means either Madara slowed himself down to stay within range while the truth-seeking orbs were making their way towards Might Guy, or that the truth-seeking orbs were moving fast enough to keep up with Madara within the 70-meter range.
That would be assuming that Minato at that moment was more than 70 meters away.
Or can you confirm that Might Guy and Madara were fighting at any point more than 70 meters away?
Since you're making the assertion that they were more than 70 meters away, the burden of proof would be upon you to prove that.
I would say that with the speed that they were moving, it would be probable, I'm going to use probability for this, it would be probable that they, at some point in time during their fights, were at least 70 meters away.
Maybe that's true, but then you would also need to prove that there was a moment where the truth-seeking orbs were within range so that Madara was forced to move so that the truth-seeking orbs would still work, which just because they were 70 meters away, it doesn't mean that the truth-seeking orbs were, because for most of the time, he just keeps the truth-seeking orbs right on him.
Yeah, well, with that example, if the truth-seeking orbs are right on him, then if Madara moves 70 meters away into Might Guy's direction, then the truth-seeking orbs would become irrelevant, so the truth-seeking orbs, again, have to be as fast, or not as fast, but at least relative to Madara, or Madara has to slow down in order to be relative to the truth-seeking orbs.
But that's while Madara is moving, but you have no proof that the truth-seeking orbs, when he throws them, are that fast. That's only while Madara is moving, and when Minato tanked them, Madara was not moving along with him, but he threw them.
Doesn't Madara use a truth-seeking orbs, like, pretty soon before this? Like, right before Minato tries to attack him with the Rasengan, then loses his arms. Actually, no, it was the Rasengan arm that hit Gaara's sand wall, but did he use a truth-seeking orb during that exchange at some point?
I'm not sure.
It's been forever, I'd have to watch the fight. My next point would be Six Path's Naruto was able to react to the truth-seeking orbs and able to kick it away from Might Guy at the end of their fight. And this was Six Path's Naruto, not Six Path's Sage Mode Naruto.
Yeah, I agree. That did happen.
How fast would you say Six Path's Naruto is?
I'm not sure. I don't have any calcs.
Would you say that Six Path's Naruto is... And this is okay, just to guess... Maybe that's bad to say in a debate. I've never debated before. But would you say that Six Path's Naruto is slower, relative, or greater than the Raikage speed?
I would assume greater than.
So because both Minato and Naruto were able to react to the Truth-Seeker orbs, that would make Minato relative to Naruto.
No, not necessarily. Naruto's far greater than Minato. They were just both able to...
If you're assuming that the truth-seeking orbs are slower than Jubi Madara, the truth-seeking orbs are slower than Jubi Madara, and both Naruto...
Well, I'm not necessarily assuming that. It's just that you would have to prove that they are as fast or faster.
Than Jubi Madara?
Yeah,
Whereas...
if you're making that point.
Yeah, we're not assuming that. We're assuming that the truth-seeking orbs are slower.
Alright.
Okay. I think I do have a way to quantify their speed in some regard. I believe it was stated somewhere that how fast Sasuke's arrows from his Susanoo are.
Where was that stated? Or quantified?
Yeah, I'm trying to look it up right now, but Sasuke was able to accurately disable, I think, like 3 of Naruto's Truth-Seeker orbs with 3 different arrows in the same exchange.
Well, if you can send me a calc that proves that, then I will take a look at that.
Alright, I'm not able to find how fast the arrows are, but I do know that Sasuke was able to easily penetrate through Danzo with his arrows, making the arrows much greater than Danzo's speed, both in reaction timing and movement, because he wasn't able to react to them either.
But then if you're going off Danzo, you need to scale Danzo to Minato, which you can't really do.
No, but I can scale the... Ooh, this is going to be very complicated. I can scale the arrow to the truth-seeking orb through Kakashi's Kamui, because Kakashi was able to warp one of the Susanoo arrows away pretty soon after the Zanzo exchange, whereas it required both Kakashi and Obito's Mangekyou to teleport Obito away to dodge the Truth-Seeking Orb, which makes the Truth-Seeking Orb relative to twice as fast as a Susanoo arrow.
Why do you say twice as fast?
Because Kakashi was able to warp away one of Sasuke's Susanoo arrows with one Kamui, whereas it required two Kamuis to teleport Obito away in order to
Yeah, but
dodge the truth-seeking
two
orb.
Kamuis doesn't really change the speed factor.
It does. It's stated that with two Kamuis, it makes the speed twice as fast to teleport away.
But wouldn't Conway be more of a reaction thing other than a movement speed feat because he's just seeing it in Conway's instant?
No, it's not instant. This is what I mean, is that it wasn't reaction speed, it was purely the speed of the ability to perform.
Yeah, I know. I misspoke. I meant, like, I know activating Conway is an instant, but when you activate it, there is no travel time from the user to the object that they're using Conway on. So since there's no travel time, then you need to prove that the time that when Kakashi first reacted to the arrow was, you need to quantify that time, and you need to prove that that is faster than what you're actually scaling it to, if that makes sense.
Because Kakashi warped the arrow away instead of the Susanoo itself, it can be assumed that he was targeting the arrow, meaning it was after the arrow was shot. So it would be between the time of the arrow firing to Kakashi.
Yeah, but you need to quantify that, though.
How fast
Or
the
you
arrow
just-
was moving, or how far apart they were?
You need to quantify whatever you need to do to find the actual speed of... What do you find in the speed of? Is Kamui or the arrow? Like, I guess I'm a little bit confused with your train of thought here.
Yeah, okay. So, you're right, because one of those does need to be defined first, which I was defining the speed of the arrow based off of half the speed of the truth-seeking orb, but we never defined an actual number for that. We only gave it a statistic of between the Raikage to Jubi Madara.
Right.
Okay, then I'm going to assign numbers. Even if they're not accurate, it just has to be in between. So I'm going to assign the Raikage of a speed of 1 and...
Your mic cut out, what'd you say?
Okay, so Raikage speed of 1, Madara speed of 3, that means... Actually, I'm going to change that.
So does that mean Madara is 3 times the speed of the Raikage?
No, these are numbers not to quantify, but using as an example, so these are very hyperbolic and out of place entirely. So what I'm doing is... It's almost like a scale, so if a Raikage is a 1 and Madara is a 5, then we can assume that both the Truth-Seeking Orbs and the Susanoo Arrow are in between these two.
Not necessarily, because you haven't proved that the Truth-Seeking Orbs or the arrow is faster than the Raikage.
I prove that the Susanoo Arrow is half as fast as the Truth-Seeking Orb, which is in between the Raikage and Madara.
How'd you prove that? Because one Kamui did it in the time that 2 Kamuis did to the Truth-Seeking Orb or something?
Yes.
But that doesn't necessarily mean it's faster, though, because you need to like actually quantify it, because you need to quantify that he wouldn't have been able to do it with one Kamui. Like, I know that he did it with 2, but it doesn't mean that he wouldn't have been able to do it with 1. And also, distance plays a factor between Kakashi and the object that he's using Kamui on. So, yeah, and you haven't quantified the distance or the fact that he might have been able to Kamui the Truth-Seeking Orb with only one eye.
I'm sure that the distance could be quantified just through doing some basic distance based off of the manga or anime or whatever we would use. And I'm sure it would be relative.
Yeah, that doesn't necessarily mean it's twice as fast, though, because there's a lot of other factors that play into it. It doesn't even mean that it's as fast or half as fast, or you can't, do that with just that little information.
Well, if I can't win this point, I think that's pretty much it.
You could move on to another point, about not about speed, you could talk about Rasengan or anything like that, or you could talk about Minato's fight with Obito.
For that, I'd have to be able to define not Obito speed, but specifically 13-year-old Obito speed, and that's the only fight we see him in, and his opponent is Minato, who is very, very high above him in terms of speed, so I don't know if that's very easy for me to do.
All right, that's fair. So do you concede?
I concede.
All right, good talk, man. This was very enjoyable to have. I like doing this stuff.
Thank you, thank you.